Welcome to the Abundance Hack Podcast, where we want to inspire you to push past your blocks, limiting beliefs, and comfort zone to live a confident, happy, and fulfilling life. I am your host, Niajae, influencer, motivational speaker, and boss babe. Every time you hit subscribe or leave a 5-star rating, I do my happy dance. Hey M&Ms, how's my magical manifestors today? What are you manifesting in your life to get you closer to living an abundant, fulfilling, happy, and yummy life? On today's episode, I want to discuss life buckets. Life buckets are something I came up with a while back to describe the different areas or categories in your life. For example, love, career, family, and self. This was inspired by the book, The 5 Love Languages, which is a phenomenal book if you haven't read it. I'll probably do an episode in the future about it, but in the book, he refers to a love tank. And he asks, how full or empty is your love tank? Just like a car needs gas and refilling, so does your love tank. But why stop at just love? How much effort and energy are you investing into your career, your family, and yourself? Now, because a car only has one gas tank, I thought it would make more sense to use buckets. You can have as many buckets as you like. So here's my concept. You have the different areas in your life that are most important to you. These are your life buckets. The objective is to keep as many of the buckets full as possible. Now think about it. If you were pouring water into one bucket and you were trying to fill that one bucket without focusing on the other buckets will suffer. So taking that water and dividing it between the buckets to create the word that we all strive for, balance. We all know when we focus all of our time and energy into our careers, our relationships, or our self-care may suffer. When we focus all of our time and energy into our relationships, our career or business may suffer. So the goal is to find that balance, being aware of how you're dividing your attention, paying close attention to when one of the buckets are depleted. So I invite you to write out what your buckets are. Right now, my buckets are love, career, and self. So my love bucket is made up of family, friends, and if I'm in a romantic relationship. But if you are married or in a serious relationship, I would recommend you have a separate bucket for that. Your marriage or relationship definitely deserves its own bucket. So you can break it down like you have your romantic relationship and then you have your bucket for friends and family. Now, career bucket is your job or your business. That's pretty self-explanatory. Then your self bucket. This is an important one to not skip. One of my favorite quotes is you can't pour from an empty cup. So this, in my opinion, is the most important bucket. The better you feel, the better partner, boss, employee, mother, father, friend you will be. So self-care, self-love, and self-compassion is essential. All right, let's break this down. I think today's society is lazy. No offense, but we live in a society where we have everything at our fingertips, so we don't have to put forth much effort into anything. You want a retail item? You don't even have to drive to the store anymore and look for it. Amazon Prime literally has everything, and it can be delivered to your door in 2 days. There's services for delivering food. You don't even have to go to the grocery store for ingredients for dinner anymore. So you would think that this would allow people to have more time to invest in their relationships and businesses and self-care, but in most cases is causing people to expect something fast with minimal effort. So I want you to realize that you cannot Amazon Prime a business. You cannot Amazon Prime a relationship or self-care. You can't microwave these things. You can't order it and have it delivered at your doorstep with minimal effort. These things require effort and energy. All right, so let's talk about the love bucket. However you break it down and divide it, let's go over some ways that you can fill these buckets. So maybe you have your romantic relationship. One of the things that I would ask is, do you do date nights? A scheduled day that you put your phone away, which is crucial, and focus 100% of your energy on your relationship or marriage. This can be once a month. This can be bi-weekly. This can be, if you're really amazing, once a week. Date night doesn't have to be something super fancy or expensive. It can be a dinner or it can be a meal and a movie at the house. But the key point is to make sure you're putting your phones away and giving your partner your undivided attention. This is crucial. Now, friends and family, when is the last time you checked on your friends and family? And I'm not talking about looking at their social media. When is the last time you called them up and asked them how they were doing, listened to their voice, heard their energy? Hold space for them to be honest about what's going on with them and in their life. And when I say hold space, I mean practice active listening without judgment. Listen without trying to bring it back to you. This is so important. This goes back to my core beliefs that we must cultivate deeper connections. So hold space for your loved ones. In order to live an abundant life, you have to adapt an abundant mindset. That requires reprogramming your beliefs to attract all the love, money, and success you can handle. Download this free Abundant as Fuck affirmation ebook with over 100 affirmations to get you started thinking positive, confident, and yummy thoughts. Download it for free at abundancehack.com/ebook to take action towards living your abundant life. Okay, so the career bucket, this can be your job, this can be your business. Now, if you work for someone, how often do you take time to think about how you can do your job better? What will it take for you to advance in your job? What skills or knowledge can you gain to make you more valuable or indispensable? If you own your own business, how often are you writing out your plans and goals? Are you mind mapping to make sure you're being productive and not just busy? Are you reverse engineering to start with the end goal in mind and working your way backwards? Now, if you don't know what I mean by any of that, feel free to reach out to me at niajae.com, Niajae.com, to schedule a strategy session. Shameless plug. But it's important that you are laser focused to make sure you are being the most efficient with your time. Now let's discuss self-bucket. Again, I think this is the most important bucket. When this bucket is depleted, every other bucket will suffer, period. Now, you can break it down more. Maybe you want to have a health bucket. Maybe you want to have a travel bucket. Maybe you want to have a fitness bucket. But definitely, you want to have a self-care bucket. So health is important. You want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Are you drinking enough water? Do you know that 75% of people are chronically dehydrated? We've gotten so used to feeling dehydrated that we don't even know how it feels to be hydrated anymore. Are you getting enough sleep? I know people think they can operate off of 4 hours of sleep, but the reality is you're not operating at 100%. So again, the other buckets will suffer. Are you eating properly? Are you taking vitamins? Are you setting aside time for relaxation or meditation? Do you have a solid morning routine? Are you taking time for fun and some type of creative outlet? Are you working out? And working out is so important. You want to get those endorphins going. Are you setting aside time for leisure, travel, exploring, trying something new? Are you setting aside time to read and listen to podcasts to make sure that you are consuming things that are making you smarter and wiser? And obviously you're doing well with the podcast because you're listening to this, but you want to make sure you are consuming things that are helping you to be the best possible version of yourself. So I encourage you to write out your life buckets and pay close attention at the end of the week of how much you filled each bucket. Balance is not something that is achieved and then that's it. It's a continuous effort that you have to commit to. The last thing I want to leave you with is when I first came up with this concept, I thought we had 100% that we had to divide between the different buckets. But recently, I read Jesse Itzler's book, Living with the Seal, where he allowed David Goggins to live with him for 30 days. David Goggins explains that when we think we have given our all and we're tired and at our breaking point, we've only given 40%. Our brains has a defense mechanism that kicks in at 40% and says, whoa, it's uncomfortable, you should stop. And it's doing this to protect us. But we have another 60% to give. When you push past that uncomfortable feeling and push past that 40%, that is where the magic happens. That is where you grow. So I want you to think about how your life would change if you gave 100%. What if you gave 100% in every single bucket? Think about how your relationships would change. Think about how your business or career would change. Think about how your life would change. So think about how magical and yummy and amazing your life can be if you committed to giving 100% in every bucket, if you committed to keeping every bucket as full as possible. Think about it. You got this, M&Ms. I believe in you. And until next time, love and light. Thank you for listening to the Abundance Hack Podcast. Don't forget to leave comments and questions. Remember, every time you subscribe or leave a 5-star rating, I do my happy dance.